Lord Crunchtington for the Radio Society of British Gentlemen. As the year draws to a close, and the season of goodwill is once again upon us, it is time to speak of a matter that makes many people uncomfortable. New people. There has been much talk of welcoming newcomers to any hobby, and amateur radio is not an exception. Making them feel at ease, of ensuring their early experiences are positive. Gentlemen, I must caution you, comfort is not an instruction. When we were new, and I remind you that we were all once new, nobody welcomed us. Nobody explained. Nobody slowed down. We listened. We waited. We made mistakes. We were ignored. And look how well we turned out. It is therefore incumbent upon us, as custodians of standards, to ensure that today's newcomers are afforded the same formative adversity. Now let us be clear, we're not unkind, we're precise. Recognition on the bands is not a right. It is something that is earned gradually through persistence and correct behaviour. When a new voice calls CQ, it is not always necessary to respond. Silence, gentlemen, is a powerful teacher. It encourages reflection. It invites the operator to consider whether his frequency choice, cadence, or confidence may require adjustment. If he calls again and again, then he is learning. Should you decide to answer, do so properly. Provide the report. Do not embellish. Avoid encouragement. Excessive warmth at this stage can be misleading. If his audio is unusual, it is perfectly acceptable to describe it as interesting. This word conveys curiosity without endorsement. If his procedure is imperfect, a brief correction may be offered, mid-over if necessary. This reinforces attentiveness, allows him to start again. Repetition builds discipline. It is also useful to know how to recognize a newcomer, not to shame him, but to ensure he receives the correct level of instructional restraint. There are signs. The first is excessive explanation. An experienced operator will simply say he is from York. The newcomer will say the city of York, in the north, Leeds, near the A1. Geography, gentlemen, is not improved by repetition. Then there is the matter of duplication. You are 5 and 9, 5 and 9. See how he says most things twice? My name is Mike. Mike India Kilo Echo. Now, bearing in mind that we can both hear each other better than a phone call, I don't need to know how to spell Mike. Again, clearly, I am running 25 watts, 25 watts, 25. You see? Twice, even 3 times. Duplication is a clear sign. The newcomer believes that if he repeats the information, it will somehow become more correct. It will not. Another indication is the filling of gaps. Pauses are dangerous to the new operator. He rushes to occupy them, fearful that something has gone wrong. He adds context, history, background, tells me unannounced about all his equipment, mostly twice, and in desperation, he may also explain the weather. Gentlemen, radio does not require narration. Silence, by contrast, is the mark of confidence. A man who is comfortable with his signal does not feel compelled to keep describing it. When you encounter these signs, do not intervene too quickly. Allow the behaviour to run its course. The newcomer must hear himself. Only when he realises that experienced operators speak less and are heard more does the lesson take hold. This is not cruelty. It is calibration. It is also important to understand that newcomers must not merely participate, they must work. Efficiency comes later. At first, the newcomer requires time to listen, to hesitate, to correct himself. Where an experienced operator completes a QSO smoothly, the newcomer should be allowed the space to struggle. If a frequency change is obvious to you, it should be discovered by him. This is not inefficiency, it is education. When a new operator asks a question, it is often best to answer a different one. This encourages independent thinking, careful listening. If he asks again, repeat yourself, but more slowly and with fewer words. Effort, gentlemen, is accumulative. A man who has had to work twice as hard for the same scrap of understanding will treasure it more deeply when he finally grasps it. Recognition, when it comes, must be measured. You may notice, over time, the newcomer's call becomes familiar, that his cadence improves, that he no longer rushes his exchange, or fills silence with unnecessary explanation. At this point, you may allow yourself a subtle shift. Perhaps you answer him more promptly. Perhaps you remain on frequency a little longer. Perhaps you stop correcting him quite so often. These changes should not be announced. They must be noticed, and noticed by him. Nothing motivates improvement like the quiet realization that one has been taken seriously, and then, gentlemen, and only then, come the rewards. Not applause, not congratulations, privileges. You may offer him a longer report. You may comment favourably on his signal, once. You may even on occasion ask him a question that suggests you value his answer. This will confuse him at first. This is normal. He will wonder what he has done differently. He will review his setup, his timing, his conduct. Good. This is how standards propagate. Eventually, you may find yourself greeting him by name alone, without explanation. You may remain on frequency while he finishes a thought. You may even, in moments of generosity, allow him to make a small mistake without comment. Gentlemen, this is the highest honour we bestow. Let us be very clear. We do not exclude newcomers. We refine them. Those who need to be welcomed will drift away. Those who wish to belong will remain. And when they do, they will not thank us, not openly. They will simply behave as we do. They will pause before transmitting, they will listen more than they speak, and one day without realizing it, they will find themselves applying the same exacting standards to someone else as we do. At that moment, you will know the system works. So this Christmas, be patient, be firm, be selective. Make the newcomer work, not because you are unkind, but because you remember what it took to stay. Anyone can join a hobby. Only a few are formed by it. Season's greetings, gentlemen. Here from Crunchtington Hall, a very good day.